The Braves taking on the Twins, the Royals taking on the Cleveland Guardians, Yankees, Washington, and Toronto, Boston Red Sox. That's some plays and analysis that are going to be coming your way right here on First Pitch, WagerTalk TV. Sure, football season might be right around the corner, but we're still here cashing some tickets on the diamond. And joining me, I'm very excited to welcome in. It's like the debut of two of my favorites here. We got Ross Benjamin and Jesse Schule. So, gentlemen, I know the chat's going to be bumping. They love the single game videos that you guys are dropping. So, share you're hanging out. Give a shout out to these guys. Make sure you hit the like button. And if you don't want to miss those single game videos, just hit that subscribe button. The little notification bell will let you know when we're going live here as well. So, boys, let's get right into it. Since we finally got you guys on here, I don't want to waste any time just chit-chatting. Let's talk some games here. And Ross has tabbed in here the Bravos and the Twins. We're going to start off with a total here, Ross. And you think Tuesday might be a day when there isn't as much run production. What are you thinking in this one, Ross?
Yeah, especially after last night's 10-6 win by Atlanta. It's going to influence the bettors a little bit, but it's not going to influence me here. Simeon Woods Richardson gets the start for the Twins. In 10 home starts this year, he's been solid with a 3.29 ERA and a 1.04 WHIP. The Twins, despite that game going over last night, have played 4-1 to the under in their last 5 at home. The Twins bullpen since August the 1st has a solid 117 WHIP, which is very good. Atlanta, by the way, they went over for the first time in 8 games last night. So they played 7-1 to the under in their last 8. And during that course of time, they're only allowing an average of a shade under 3 runs per game. Matter of fact, they've also gone under the total in 11 of their last 14. If you've been following the Braves this year, they've played under the total more than anybody in baseball. And also the Braves 16-7 to the under in their last 23 on the road following an over in their previous game. Spencer Schwellenbach for the Atlanta Braves, since coming up from the minors this year, has been absolutely terrific. I mean, especially over his last 8 starts, Dan, where he has a 2.84 ERA and 0.87 WHIP and averaging 6.3 innings pitched per start, which really takes the workload off the bullpen. I am going to go with Minnesota, Atlanta under the total of 8.5.
Looking for the under out the gate for our man, Ross Benjamin, wt.buzz/RB. You can check him out. We got some great deals that are going right now that we'll be sharing in just a few moments. But first, let's talk some Royals and Guardians. This one going to Progressive Field. We got Jesse Schule breaking this one down. It's Lorenzen and Williams in this, and you're looking at about, let's call it like minus 150 up to 160 at some spots if you want to back the Guardians here. How are you looking to bet this one, Jesse, though?
I think they got the wrong team favorite here, Dan.
Ooh,
I was watching your show
WTF
yesterday.
Special, you're saying, Jesse. I like it. I like it.
Absolutely. I was watching your show yesterday. You had a guy by the name of Brian Power on the show, and he said, clearly, Cleveland's the better team in this series, and I will point out that Brian Power is from Cleveland, and I disagree with his analysis of that. Certainly not since the All-Star break, Cleveland hasn't been the better team. Kansas City, 9-3 in their last 12 overall. They're really knocking the cover off the ball, averaging 5.7 runs per game in August. Only Arizona is hitting more than that. 5.9 runs per game since the All-Star break. They're only a game back in the division. Cleveland is trending in the opposite direction, 3-8 their last 11. They're 20th in scoring since the All-Star break. And you look at the 2 starting pitchers today, Lorenzen going for Kansas City. Great pickup for them. He's not a flashy guy, not a big name, but he's got a decade of experience in the majors. He's always been fairly dependable. He doesn't really get rocked very often. His numbers in Kansas City in 4 starts, 2-0 with a 1.99 ERA. And then you got Gavin Williams, the young guy going for Cleveland. He has really struggled. He has consistently struggled. His numbers at home, he's 0-4 with an 8.66 ERA in just 4 starts. His last home start was a loss to the Orioles. He gave up 6 runs on 8 hits, a pair of home runs, a pair of walks in just 4 innings. We can get Kansas City as a dog for the first 5 innings with this matchup and get the +0.5 at -110. I think that's a high percentage play for almost a pick'em price. I'm going to say my big game breakdown is Kansas City first half +0.5.
I like it. A little Kansas City action. You know the chat loves that wrong team favored angle. Hop below in the comments. Let us know if you see any other games where that may be the case here on the board. Any thoughts here? I know you broke down, obviously, the first 5. Either you guys got any feeling on the total? We got Boss 429 asking about how about the over in that Kansas City and Cleveland game. So for me, I mean, nothing jumps off the board at me. You were right around the number last night. You know, you can't just take last night's results and transfer them on over. But Ross, anything on the total for you? I know you're definitely a totals guy. So any thoughts here in Royals Guardians total?
Yeah, I would stay away from the total. I mean, again, especially the over. And I'm not willing to go on the under either because of what Jesse just alluded to. The Royals are tearing the cover off the ball, as he eloquently put. But, you know, you're looking at a very high percentage of public betting right now in terms of volume of tickets and money bet on the over right now. So I'm not a guy who likes to jump all over whatever the public is doing, but that's not the end all be all. And we're also seeing at one particular sports book, it's up to 9.5 right now. So, I'm going to stay away from this total.
Yeah, I'm with you. Sheer stay away from me here in game 2 as far as the total is concerned. If you like the side, the first 5 was the way to look at taking that half a run for our man Jesse Schule. Well, Jesse, you mentioned that you checked out the show yesterday, so then you well know that anytime that I can bring up my Philadelphia Phillies, especially when they're actually winning again, I will. And we got Nola on the bump and Verlander. So if you're just going by name only, marquee pitching matchup that you have right here. It's just reality then has to set in when you're talking about both of these pitchers, one maybe more than other. But any thoughts for you, Astros, Phillies? And we do have some folks saying happy Patrick Corbin Day here in the chat. Don't worry, we will be talking about that game coming up here in Best Bets. But as far as the Phillies are concerned here today, anything for you in this one, Jesse? I know you love coming on here and fading people's teams. So is that what we're doing today? Nice plus money price if we look at the Astros.
Yeah, you know, I had a look at this game. I wanted to be involved, but I didn't really see enough value to make a move on it personally. But certainly I do have a lean. You know, I don't want to be betting on a 41-year-old or 42. I mean, Verlander's on the wrong side of 40. He's got 1 start under his belt since coming back. That was a loss. He was okay. He didn't log a lot of innings. Say what you want about Nola. He's still been decent, and Philly's playing better baseball right now. Houston went on that run. They passed the Mariners in the division, but they've sort of been tripping over their feet of late. I would lean Philly in this game, but like I said, I just didn't see the value.
Yeah, and Ross, it really has been that kind of story here for Verlander's season. I think he came back, and then it was 2.5 months because his neck was stiff. So that's definitely when you know a guy's nearing the end of his career, when you're missing 2.5 months for neck stiffness. But like Ross kind of said there, like Jesse kind of said there, when he finally did return, 2 runs, 4 hits, 5 innings, sure, he went over his strikeout prop, striking out 6 and walking 1, but you only saw 76 pitches. So you could argue, you know, somewhat efficient, but this Phillies lineup, if you're throwing junk at them, you know, if you throw it right over the plate or anything like that, sure, it's not like they've been hitting like crazy, but they can make you pay here a little bit. Any thoughts on a team total over for the Phillies going against the Verlander, or how would you maybe attack this one?
Yeah, I mean, if I had a lean on the total, I'd go under. And, you know, look, I got a soft heart for old guys, Dan. You know, come on, man. And, you know,
I wasn't bashing him. I wasn't bashing.
I ain't betting on. How about Jesse going, I ain't betting on a guy over 40. Well, you know, you're 49, Jesse. I'm betting on you. You know, come on.
Tell him, Ross.
Anyway, yeah, exactly. Anyway, look at, you know, this total is up to 9 right now in some places. and 8.5 and others. I mean, if you can get a 9 here, it might be worth a look to go under the total. I think that Verlander, again, you said the Phillies ain't hitting exactly tremendously right now, but we know what they're capable of. And the Astros really is not the type of hitting team we've seen in years past. So still a solid ball club, but I think they're benefiting from the division they're in. And I think this pitching matchup lives up to its billing. And I think we'll see Verlander give him a good 6 innings tonight. And Nola, I always liked Aaron Nola. I think he shuts down the Astros tonight. I think we might see a low-scoring game here.
Yeah, and even with how you mentioned how the Astros really, it's not like you have to worry about them all that much tearing the cover off of the ball. We had a question here in the chat. Hal L was asking Nola under 5.5 strikeouts. It's gone under that number 5 straight games. Before that, it was another one game that he went under that. So he's going to be right around that number. And I also am not sure if he has to throw as many strikeouts to get these guys out. You're going to be seeing a potential line outs, this, that, and the other thing. What do you think about that one, Ross? Because I would say it's right around the number. I maybe lean under, but I don't know if I'm betting that one.
Yeah, Houston's a contact hitting team. So, and they're also there, I believe, don't quote me on this, but they're one of the better teams in not striking out in terms of their strikeout to at-bat ratio or plate appearance ratio. So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me, Dan.
All right, we got some other questions here, guys, some games that we'll hit on. If you're just joining us, we already touched upon Atlanta taking on the Twins, KC, Cleveland, and just the Phillies and the Houston Astros right there. We got Yankees, Washington coming up. Best bet in that from Ross Benjamin, and a free best bet coming up in Toronto versus the Red Sox from our man Jesse Schule. A question here from David Gary. He's asking about any thoughts on no one to score 6 in the Brewers game. So he really likes getting into the alternate markets. He's looking to maybe parlay together no one to score 6 in Brewers taking on the San Francisco Giants, and I think he would pair it with the White Sox game as well. Anytime we're fading the White Sox, guys, I'm interested. But David Gary saying no team to score 6 in Brewers or White Sox. So, Jesse, I'll start with you. Any opinions on either of those games? And I like David Gary going down the board trying to find himself some value here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Brewers game looks like a potential pitcher's duel. Certainly like no one to score 6. The question is at what price. Did he give you a price there? Because if it's not too juiced up, I think that's probably a good bet. San Francisco doesn't hit the ball very well on the road. What is it, Webb and Myers, the pitching matchup there, and I think both of them have been pretty solid.
All right, Ross. So, I hate to even have us have to talk about the Chicago White Sox. I mean, if you want to give any more thoughts on the Giants and Brewers, be my guest. But somebody put it in the chat earlier. It's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why don't we just keep betting against the Chicago White Sox? Sure, they're going to sneak up on someone eventually, but even at minus 145, it looks cheap going here on the Rangers, right?
Well, I guess because Garrett Crochet's on the mound, so that would be my only hesitancy. I really like what the gentleman just said about both games, nobody scoring 6 runs.
Yeah.
Look, the Chicago White Sox couldn't score 6 runs on the Chinese Taipei Little League All-Star team, let alone against a Major League Baseball competition. I mean, you look, they've been at the bottom of the barrel offensively all year. Crochet, we know how good he is. Heaney's so-so, but against the White Sox, he might look like the next coming of Sandy Koufax. So, and then also the other game, the Brewers, Tobias Myers, to me, is a very underrated pitcher. And then Logan Webb going for San Francisco. So, like Jesse alluded to, that shapes up to be a very good pitching matchup. And I certainly would agree with that gentleman's assessment. I am not one of those guys who play alternate lines. But in terms of if he's asking my opinion, I think he's on the right track.
Very fair. Hop below in the comments. Keep those coming. What are some of your favorite bets here? And shout out to David Gary. WagerTalk is king. No, the chat is king. We appreciate you guys. Check these guys out. WT.buzz. What'd you say there?
I got something to add about the White Sox Texas
please
game.
do.
The talk about Crochet getting the start. The problem with Crochet is he's been good, but he hasn't pitched more than 4 innings, I think, in 7 or 8 straight starts now. It seems very clear that he's limited to 4 innings. So almost assuredly, he's only going to pitch 4 innings here. Chicago's bullpen for the other 5 innings. That's a big concern
Worrisome.
if you're trying to bet unders.
Yeah, no, that's definitely fair and definitely something to keep your eye on. As I mentioned, some great deals that we have going on over at WagerTalk, and both of these guys, college football experts. And don't worry, they're still going to be cashing alongside you baseball cappers as well. It's kind of like quiet time in the book for baseball. All the odds makers are looking at this big screen of college football games, NFL right around the corner. That's where we attack some MLB. But college football week 1, it's nigh, folks. And for a limited time, you can get 14 days of all access for under $200. You get an extra week. So that's 21 days all access service. And Ross, you're getting pretty excited here for college football. Am I correct? You'd be a great capper to pair with this one, right?
Absolutely. 62-42 run to finish last season, finished number 2 overall in college football. In terms of money earned, that 62-42 run was from September 9th on. So a 60% run, hit 58% for the entire season. So, yeah, I would highly recommend, folks, even if you go and just buy my college football annual package, if, you're talking $529. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to college football. I know Jesse is as well.
Yeah, and I'll say too, and Jesse, I want to get your thoughts on what you have over at your page. But as I mentioned, continue cashing on some of these other sports. Like even with football back, Ross still a terrific MLB expert. You've seen him in his single game videos on Wager Talk today. Finally, he's joining us here, and we love that. But with that all access, you're also going to get the MLB plays still. So if action is the name of your game, you're going to get it across all different types of sports. And Jesse, I believe with your all access, obviously you're going to be getting some football here. You're going to keep going with baseball. And then even, don't we still have Canadian football every now and then that you're sprinkling in for your clients as well?
Absolutely, and I've had plenty of success with Canadian football, with sports like with baseball, Canadian football, soccer is another one that I get involved in. Come football season, you're going to be limited to the best of the best with those picks. So if I put out a pick on soccer or Canadian football, you can rest assured that I really like that game. Just the fact that I'm spending my time investing in betting on that game, because I will be focused heavily on college football and NFL. Mostly college football. I tried to put out every game with lines for week 0 and week 1 with video previews on WagerTalk TV. Just 3 games so far. Hit 2 of the 3 picks in the videos, but that included the plus 400 money line winner with Georgia Tech. So really excited moving forward, getting a great reaction from the viewers.
Yeah, all those sharps saying, I'm laying the 10.5. How are they going to stop the run? And Jesse Schule just says, forget the 10.5. We're not taking that. We're taking money line. That's what you're going to get here from some of our experts. And all right, guys, we're going to keep the lights on at least. We hit the promotional portion here of the program. Best bets are coming up, but let's hit one more game before that, as Scott Chaffee is asking. Simple question. No alt lines, no first fives, no pitcher props. Do the Cardinals win today? He's asking. It's Padres Cardinals, 7:45 Eastern is the first pitch in this one. It's Cease and Mikolas in this one. So we'll start with you, Ross. Any thoughts here? Simple question. I'll give you guys both a chance to answer. Yeah. Cardinals, do they win for our man Scott Chaffee?
I mean, if they're going to beat the Padres with Dylan Cease on the mound, I guess this would be the time, because Cease hasn't been as dominant of late as he's been all season long. But again, against a quality starting, he's now, the Cardinals still leave a lot to be desired offensively. This is a stay away game for me, so I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other here, Dan.
Jesse, how about you? Any thoughts here? A stay away for Ross, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's one of our best tools as bettors, is the odds makers. even with football right around the corner, they're putting up a line on every single game. They still got 15 games to figure out here in MLB. We, as bettors, get to choose the ones that we think they messed up a little bit on. Any thoughts for our man Scotty, if you think that the Cardinals are the side, or would you make a case here for the favorite?
Yeah, I'd probably lean Padres in this game, and I'd also caution that this could be a game that gets out of hand as far as the scoring goes. Check the weather report.
Okay.
It looked like extremely warm air, light breeze maybe blowing out. You could see a lot of home runs in this game. That adds another variable to it. I would be inclined to back the visitors here rather than the home team. Nicholas has struggled in his last 5 starts or so.
Yeah, and as far as weather is concerned, this is really like the game outside of Atlanta, Minnesota, Texas, and Chicago White Sox. The one that is most likely to maybe be affected by weather is this St. Louis and San Diego Padres game. So definitely keep an eye on that. It's definitely a way that you want to factor in how you're betting this game. I would maybe say look closer to betting this one at game time. I'm not sure if you're going to be losing much value either way. I really don't expect there to be as much. You're not really at this time of year going to see as many huge line moves simply because you're looking at some now more common and lower volume markets. So with the weather in this one, probably one, Scotty, that I would be waiting on. And Hal L pointing out that Mikolas burned me last week. He's so bad and pitched a gem last week. That's what Mikolas kind of does. It's like when you're like, finally, I figured him out and I can fade him. That's when he decides to screw you. So yeah, that's why I would probably push the brakes and have a little caution there as well. All right, boys. 25 minutes into the show, best bet time for the folks. Ross, we'll start with you. Remind the folks what you have up over at WagerTalk.com and let us know how you think we could get after Patrick Corbin Day. It's one of our favorite holidays to celebrate. I will say Corbin, last 2 outings haven't been awful, but now he's playing this Yankees lineup that looked like the Yankees again here, Ross. So Yankees, Nats, how are we betting this one?
Yeah, Patrick Corbin Day. I love that because I'm all for it. 26 starts this year, and in those 26 starts, opponents have averaged 5.7 runs per game. So he's not exactly held the competition down. I mean, not all of that it's on him. Some of it's on the bullpen. But as we well know, I always scratch my head every year going in when I see Patrick Corbin listed as a starting pitcher and wonder, I guess I got to teach my kid how to throw left-handed because I don't know how he has a spot in any team's rotation. Since August the 1st, the Yankees have hit 42 home runs in 22 games. Stanton's healthy now. Chisholm's back in the lineup, getting production from Wells. Obviously, Soto and Judge having magnificent years. The Yankees this year on the road versus left-handed starting pitchers, averaging 6.1 runs per game. Of course, there was only 11 of those situations that came up, but they prospered heavily in that situation. The Yankees are also an extremely good road team, actually way better on the road than at Yankee Stadium, 42-24 and averaging 5.5 runs per game. And the Yankees in this year, 18 away games against National League clubs, and they've dominated, going 13-5 and averaging 6.8 runs per game. So you couple all those impressive Yankees offensive stats that I just reeled off and couple that with the fact that you're facing a pitcher the caliber of Patrick Corbin, I'm going to go I rarely ever do this high of a team total, but I'm not going to let that affect me in this one. I'm going to go New York Yankees over the total of 5.5 at money line odds of -105 is my best bet tonight.
Going over runs expected, and who knows, with Aaron Judge playing like an absolute alien, Aaron Judge might contribute half of those runs. And if you factor in the RBIs, might contribute damn near all of them. I mean, even how he's playing in the outfield, hell of a job of what we're seeing out of Aaron Judge, just playing like he's from outer space. right now. Hop below in the comments. Let us know what you're looking to bet. Ross's best bet going over the team total with the New York Yankees. What's your best bet? We want to hear in those comments below. Jesse Schule also has a best bet coming your way here. And, man, it's just been all about fading the Red Sox here as of late, Jesse. Toronto taking them on, and they're going to be seeing each other quite a few times over these next few days. And Monday was very good to the Toronto Blue Jays. 4-1 and 7-3 wins for Toronto. So this Red Sox team, who needs wins right now when you're talking about playoff contention, they're starting to look like a team who's going to be on the outside looking in with these, 5 straight losses that they've been working with. You think they make it 6 straight today, or is your best bet in attacking this game in a little bit different of a way? How are you looking to hit it, Jesse?
Yeah, no, I'm going to go with Canada's team, even after I made fun of Brian Power for being a homer. I'm going to go with the Canadian team. Toronto, these teams are trending in opposite directions. Toronto's won 5 straight, but more importantly, Vladimir Guerrero is knocking the cover off the ball. In August, he's batting over 400, 9 home runs so far this month. Boston, 4 straight losses. They're 6-12 in their last 18 overall. You look at the starting pitching matchup, it's actually kind of uncanny. You got Yariel Rodriguez and Cooper Criswell. So the ERAs, Rodriguez, 4.40 ERA, Criswell, 4.41. Let's look at the whips. 1.33 whip for Rodriguez, 1.34 whip for Criswell. So difficult to say that either team has the advantage, although I will point out that Criswell, in his last 4 appearances, he's given up 9 runs on 18 hits, 6 walks in just 10 2/3 innings of work. And the Jays just have a hotter lineup. And then Boston is the favorite in this game for whatever reason. I'm scratching my head again saying wrong team favored. But a very cheap price taking the Jays on the run line. I don't trust the Jays bullpen, so I will take that 1.5 as insurance in case the bullpen blows it late. But I like the Blue Jays plus 1.5 here.
Taking the 1.5 with the Toronto Blue Jays. Hop below in the comments. Let us know how you're looking to bet that one. And while you're hanging out down there, make sure you hit that like button and you subscribe. That little bell will get you notified when we go live. If you're watching us on social, we're on X, Instagram, TikTok. That follow button, and we'll be right there in the timeline getting you those winners that you know and you love. Don't go anywhere, though, folks. 30 minutes from now, we got WagerTalk today coming your way, so do not touch that dial. Hang out with us here. We got Gianni the Greek, the $2 Tuesday handicapper, coming your way. Mark Zinno going to be talking some player props coming up for the NFL season, and we got some UFC action with Gianni the Greek, and of course, you got Rocksteady Teddy Covers, and unfortunately, you got the Prez too. But he's coming up here on the channel. Don't go anywhere. Make sure that you hit that bell on the way out. We would appreciate it. Last thing I want to share with you, Steve Merrill just gave me a shout out just saying, hey, can you let folks know, because I don't want them to miss out. 12-1 run that Steve Merrill is on, 15-2 MLB run, and he's rocking with a 5%er this night. Only his 3rd 5%er in the past 2 years. He doesn't drop them often, but when he does, cashes in with them. So check out Steve Merrill over at WagerTalk as well, wt.buzz/SM. And check out all 3 of these guys, Ross Benjamin, Jesse Schule as well. That special, it can't be overstated. 21 days of action, and you get all access. You're saving money, folks, and you're cashing with some of the best in the biz. So check them out. Big shout out to Ross and Jesse joining us here on the show. Boys, we got to have you back. It was fun. And best of luck, boys. Cash those tickets. To the chat, best of luck to you as well. We'll see you locked and loaded 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. on the West Coast. Wednesday's first pitch coming your way. Until then, everyone,